This is a forest, this is a mine. Which one can make coal faster? Section 1, Terms and Methods. Coal and charcoal are essentially the same resource. They smelt the same amount of blocks and light up the same amount of darkness. What is different is how they are obtained. Coal is mined, whereas charcoal is made. The point of this video is to find out which is more efficient. Section 2, Trees. I concocted 2 methods to mine wood: factory and nature. Let's compare. Factory is stable but requires input, whereas nature needs no input but will eventually run out. With a random sampling of trees near my camp and a netherite axe, I cut everything in sight for a minute. The total came to 80 logs, so natural chopping results in 1 log and 1 plank every second. Instead of using fractions, I'm just rounding to planks, 4 planks to a log. Factory farming, on the other hand, is much more repetitive. Obviously, farms will vary, but for the sake of the argument, I lined up a bunch of trees in straight rows. And after comparing all the different types of wood, birch and dark oak tied for first. I would highly recommend you stick with birch rather than dark oak, because dark oak can only be efficiently mined to its leaves. And since the leaves of the dark oak will not rot because of the logs that will be staying in them, it will require maintenance before replanting, which will eat into precious harvesting time. All that said, once ideal equipment is used, factory farming comes out to a log and 3 planks per second, so factory comes ahead by 2 planks. Section 3, Mining. Mining is a whole nother can of worms. You see, there really isn't factory coal mining. Instead, we can only pray that the RNG gods look down favorably on us while we mine. So I presume the direction I mine in won't matter. We'll see if because the website I used to see where I should mine said I should mine between Y95 and 96, and I'm sure very technically that somehow the coal that spawns on mountains has a higher percentage of existing there, and by some miracle of numbers we would mine more coal at that elevation. What the hell is this? Cobbled deep slate. Strip mining was laborious. After doing nothing but mine stone for ages on separate Y-axis levels, with Y30 being the most optimal, it averaged a piece of coal every 3 seconds. So then we try open pit mining. This method involves me jumping into every open crevice I can find and mining all that sweet black gold. Just one small problem with this method. I am not very good at Minecraft, and while I will take the L, this does prove that logistical challenges present in open pit mining would eat into any profits. What I mean by this is when you strip mine, you get to run home to base the second you run out of food or your pickaxe breaks, so long as you remember your convoluted torch maze system. 1 redstone beneath the top right torch. Does that mean the next left is a U-turn? But in an open pit mine, you have to bring along everything. Swords, lots of food, plenty of torches. Now, this can be mitigated by starting up colonies. What the? Get out of here! Perhaps temporary home is a better term. When you find a good cave system, build a home and live there until all the minerals have been mined. While this still would be inefficient, it is possibly the best way to go about large-scale mining in open pits. But I would advise against it. You know why? Because the open pit's best output was 1 piece of coal every 12 seconds. Even upgrading to Fortune 3, which doubles output, a piece of coal every 6 seconds does not compare. Now, yes, I'll admit that perhaps a more developed world with better equipment would utilize deposits faster. But these deposits would become ever more scarce the longer a world continued, meaning the better equipment you get, the further away coal gets, negating the good equipment. Section 4. Math! So there we have it. Factory trees outputs 1 log and 3 planks per second. Natural trees outputs 1 log and 1 plank per second. Strip mining outputs 0.3 coal per second, and open pit mining outputs 0.2 coal per second. Factory trees for the win then, right?
Objection!
With that shocking revelation put forth, let's run the numbers again. Factory trees outputs 1.4 coal per second, natural trees outputs 1 coal per second, strip mining outputs 0.3 coal per second, and open pit mining outputs 0.2 coal per second. So, yeah, it doesn't change much. All hail industrial farming. But before you go, I want to leave you with one last thing to chew on. You see, the whole point of this video was to find the fastest fuel source, and while charcoal is the obvious choice, there is another, and it's been under our feet this whole time. Section 5. Hell. Lava can smelt 100 blocks before it's expended, which is 12 times as much as coal, and it's way faster to collect, roughly translating to 15 pieces of coal a second. The only downside is the initial infrastructure, which would be a pain to set up, but there's a secret number I've been keeping from you. Last twist, I swear. The time it takes to gather material. All the above numbers do not factor in how long it takes to mine the materials that will be used in the tools to maximize efficiency. And when you want maximum efficiency, which of course you do, why else would you be watching this video, you'll need netherite. And by the time you found that, you could have already been well underway by just sucking up the heat below your feet. Because unlike every axe and pick, buckets don't break. So once the first batch is made, wood and coal pale in comparison.